Hey guys, today we are going to discuss the poem A Tiger in the Zoo, which is written by Leslie Norris. It refers to the helplessness and the miserable condition of an animal that has been put behind the bars of a cage. You can very well imagine the picture because the moment you give a thought to all these 9-10 months that have just gone by, the period of lockdown, and how your sense of freedom has been curbed to the four walls of the house. Earlier, you used to be bubbling with good spirits and moving around in the school, making a lot of hullabaloo, doing so many activities all together, and coming back exhausted home and relishing a good food. But now you have all the good food at your exposure and you have things, you don't have things to do, and you don't have to meet friends, you are attending your classes online. So that's kind of a lot of miserable confinement to you guys. And this is how we can be expressing our empathy to the tiger that has been put behind the bars here. He stalks in his vivid stripes the few steps of his cage on pads of velvet quiet in his quiet rage. It's a majestic beauty, isn't it? The wild beauty, the tiger, the family of the lion. And he stalks in his vivid stripes the few steps of his cage. Why few steps? Because this is just a limited sphere of activity that he is allowed to move in. So he just takes a few steps, reaches the wall, turns around. So this to and fro movement is all that he is allowed to make. On pads of velvet quiet. Metaphorically, the poet refers to its paws as velvet paws because they are cushioned and they make no noise. And the next line gives a lot of acute sense of desolation and helplessness when he refers to the quiet rage. It's an oxymoron where two contrasts are put together to emphasize the feel that the poet wants to drive at. Quiet rage. This animal is full of rage and fury and vigor and anger, and the fear that it exercises over the onlookers has been reduced to a quiet kind of a rage because it cannot exercise that fear on the onlookers anymore because it has been confined to the cage. He should be lurking in shadow, sliding through long grass near the water hole where plump deer pass. This animal, had it not been confined to the cage's four walls, he should be moving around free in the jungles, free. And he should be lurking in the shadow means hiding somewhere, waiting for the prey, waiting for the deer to come to the water tank or the water areas to have their fill, and he would have given them a ferocious chase and gulped them down his belly. But now he is allowed to have that particular portion of food, whatever it is, at regular intervals, at the given times, and he is not able to chase any animal, which in his natural habitat he would have loved to do. He should be lurking in shadow, sliding through the long grass near the water hole where plump deer pass. The plump deers that he would have loved to give a chase to. He should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge, baring his white fangs, his claws, and terrorizing the village. Had he been free, he should be snarling around, he should be making roars around the houses which are adjacent to the jungle, and he would have uncovered his white fangs, that is his tooth, his claws, and he would have terrorized the entire village by its mere presence around. His roar around would have given creeps to the people living over there. But alas, it's not so. Nobody is scared of him. All those people who keep visiting the zoo are not scared of him, seeing his wild spirits totally tamed, right? The literary device which is here to note is in the word snarling, which is onomatopoeia that denotes a particular kind of a sound. And in Hindi, we often use words like tin tin, trin trin, tun tun, sai sai, kind of. Uh, but he's locked in a concrete cell, his strength behind bars, stalking the length of his cage, ignoring visitors. He is locked in this concrete cell and his strength is behind the bars. It's quite clear. The wild strength that it could have exercised on the people around is curbed behind the bars. He is not able to chase or move around or express its anger and create terror among the people. Stalking the length of his cage, and he even likes to ignore visitors. He doesn't want to indulge in any of the tomfoolery that the people exercise on him, seeing him tamed enough. He hears the last voice at night, the patrolling cars, and stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. The last noise at the end of the day is the noise of the patrolling cars that keep vigilance around the area, and he has nothing else to do. He just stares with his brilliant eyes. I told you it's a wild beauty, this entire lion family. It stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. Nothing else to do. So, if we talk about our own real life, I would like to give another example which goes very well with this idea of freedom. When we are in a relationship with any person, we need to give scope to the other person, that personal space that we often keep talking about. If that is curbed, if you confine the person who you profess to love so much, the entire magic is lost. We are no more the people who the other person fell in love with, because we tend to lose that authentic self of ours when we are put into restrictions. So, love free, live free, and enjoy literature more. Thank you.